Welcome to the 15th episode of Bible Summaries. Today, we embark on the journey through the book of Ruth, covering chapters 1 to 4. This short yet profound narrative presents a story rich in themes of loyalty, love, and redemption, set during the era of the judges in Israel. Chapter 1. Naomi's bitterness and Ruth's loyalty. We begin with a severe famine that forces Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons to leave Bethlehem and settle in Moab. Sadly, Elimelech dies, and later, Naomi's sons, who had married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, also pass away. Grieving and alone, Naomi decides to return to Bethlehem after hearing that the famine has ended. She urges Ruth and Orpah to remain in Moab, but Ruth steadfastly refuses, declaring her loyalty with the timeless words, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God." Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. Together, Naomi and Ruth return to Bethlehem. Chapter 2. Ruth meets Boaz. In Bethlehem, Ruth seeks to provide for herself and Naomi by gleaning in the fields. By divine providence, she ends up working in the field of Boaz, a wealthy relative of Elimelech. Boaz notices Ruth and is deeply impressed by her devotion to Naomi. He ensures her protection and instructs his workers to leave extra grain for her to gather. Ruth returns home with an abundant harvest, and Naomi blesses Boaz for his kindness. Chapter 3. Ruth's bold request. Guided by Naomi, Ruth takes a courageous step by approaching Boaz at the threshing floor, asking him to be her kinsman redeemer, a relative with the duty to marry a widow to preserve the family line. Ruth humbly lays at Boaz's feet as a sign of her request. Boaz is moved by Ruth's virtue and agrees to take on the role of kinsman redeemer, but he must first ensure that a closer relative does not claim the right. Chapter 4. Ruth marries Boaz. Boaz meets with the closer relative, who declines to marry Ruth, thus clearing the way for Boaz to do so. Boaz and Ruth marry, and soon, Ruth gives birth to a son named Obed. Naomi is filled with joy, as Obed restores her family's lineage. The women of the town praise Naomi, recognizing the blessings that have come full circle. Obed eventually becomes the grandfather of King David, establishing Ruth's significant place in the lineage that leads to Christ. Key message. The book of Ruth culminates in a beautiful narrative of redemption and restoration. It powerfully illustrates how God's providence can work through the loyalty, love, and faithfulness of ordinary people, leading to extraordinary blessings. Ruth's inclusion in the lineage of King David, and ultimately Jesus Christ, underscores the inclusive and redemptive nature of God's plan for salvation. The story of Ruth reminds us that God's plans often unfold through everyday events, and that our faithful actions, no matter how small, can have far-reaching consequences in His grand design.